I really enjoy planting trees, the actual act of putting a tree in the ground in the hope that it's going to outlive me. Some of them, you know, may last for hundreds of years. So the actual act of doing it is really exciting. And then I also love going back over the years. I suppose I've only been planting trees really for a few years, although I have planted before that. But visiting trees that I planted and seeing them still alive is a really nice experience. Yeah. I think individually we can, I suppose, inform ourselves about trees. If we have a small green space, a small garden, we can actually create small micro nurseries, taking cuttings and also collecting seed. We can join other groups. We could, yeah, everyone's welcome in our Trees Please group or other environmental groups around the city. I'm part of a group called Trees Please that has been going for 3 years. We've had 3 planting seasons. So I suppose our main plan is to plant, distribute, and grow native Irish trees. So this year we've distributed about 3,400 probably. Some we're holding over. If I was to come back in 20 to 30 years, I would hope that the city would be transformed very in real terms. I would hope there'd be a lot more trees, both in the sort of residential areas, small native trees, fruit trees, and sort of smaller bushes. So, and in parks, I hope there'd be more space. At the moment, there's a lot of green space that is just cut grass. So I would like the city's margins where there is trees and where there is a lot of grass to, in 20, 30 years' time, I would hope there would be sort of semi-mature trees, sort of more of them throughout the city.
I think going down there gives me reflective time, which, we're all very busy. It's lovely sometimes to just pause and be with nature. And that tree in particular just gave me a focal point to maybe just stop and be still. And I often thought about loved ones I've lost. And I just had a sense that I was always with them by standing at that tree. And sometimes I'd even reach out and maybe touch one of the lower leaves as almost like wanting a physical connection. But also feeling that they were very much with me. Now that might have been all in my head, but even so, the tree kind of helped me to focus on that. And as I walked up and down the pathway in between the trees, I often felt the pathway was quite crowded, that they were actually walking alongside of me. And I think that's what nature does for us. It maybe takes our minds off the stresses of daily life and gives us an opportunity to just reflect, to pause.
Plant a tree, you're planting for everyone. You're planting for us as human beings, you're planting for insects, birds, the mycelium, mushrooms and all that type of thing. So a tree is more than a tree, it's a life force. When I'm listening to that, it's like a meditation. I could sit here and listen to that and my problems would go. It's like listening to the trees. I'm looking, I can see all the reflections, the movement, the lighting along the branch. I can see it all. And that sound is so soothing. It's like a Prozac. It is like a Prozac, yeah.
Someone asked me before, do I believe trees have a consciousness? And I would say most definitely. Because like everyone in life, you never know where it's going to take you. And a couple of times in my life, the journey has floored me. And I'm lucky that I have had deep connection with nature and with trees especially. And I find, and no way to sound hippy-dippy or whatever that term means to people, I just find great peace and solace of heading into the woods, resting my back next to the tree and actually allowing myself to dissolve into nature. And when you look back at Irish history and the old Ogham calendar and all that that carries and all the Brehon law, you begin to reconnect with the indigenous blood that runs through our veins. And I feel that the trees carry those messages and those secrets because they've been here, and they'll be here a lot longer than my lifetime. And they'll, for example, you could sit next to an oak tree that could be 900 years old. And how many generations of humans is that? And I find as soon as I can get that spot in nature and just sit down and relax, that everything else just melts away. And it all begins to make sense again. I feel there's so much changing in the world right now. And there's so much at times that we feel we don't have control over. But I feel that like every little seed that's sown or little branch that's propagated is hope for the future. And even though I may not be here, I know that those trees will serve somebody else in the future. And that's something that I can do in the midst of a time, at some times when we feel we don't have control over what's going on.